Hello everyone, this is Tiffany, and this is a screencast of the Seesaw Intro for Teachers PD session that was held on Tuesday, September 1st. I forgot to click record, so I'm doing this screencast instead. So our objectives are to explain what Seesaw is and how students and teachers will exchange assignments in the hybrid learning environment that we're using this fall. And then discuss the specific elements of Seesaw that will be key to your success teaching in that hybrid model. So specifically looking at some daily templates, homeschool communication, and how we're going to get students up to speed on using Seesaw. So first, the overview. So a couple of vocabulary terms that you need to know if you're going to be using Seesaw. The first is journal. So journal is Seesaw speak for the place where student work is stored. So Seesaw is a platform for exchanging assignments. It really started its life as a digital portfolio tool. So the journal is where the students' work will be stored. And as a teacher, you can access that work several ways. So you can click on the calendar icon up there in the top right with the orange box around it to view student work by date. You could click on the folder icon to view student work by folder. So you as a teacher do have the option to organize work by folders. And you would click on a student's name to view the work that had been created by a specific student. Another key vocabulary word is activities. And activities is Seesaw speak for assignments. And the way that you either create or find an activity is to click on that green circle up there in the top right with the white plus sign, and you go to assign activity. So that brings you to something that looks like this, and it defaults to my library, so the library of stuff that you have created or liked and saved to your library. And you can see that you have a couple of other options up there. Because we're a Seesaw for school. In other words, you have the paid subscription. We have a school library where we can share activities amongst teachers in a specific school. And community, everybody has access to. So that's kind of the worldwide library of activities that other teachers who use Seesaw have created. This is where you would go if you want to create a new activity from scratch. And we'll talk more about that in other trainings. One thing that confused me when I first started using Seesaw is that if you want to search, you have to be sure to switch from my library to the community library, because basically when we're searching, we're typically looking for activities created by other people. Obviously, once your library gets larger, you might search within your library, but usually you're going to look out in the worldwide community and see if somebody else has already created an activity that you could use or copy and edit and reuse. And there are lots of ideas in that community library. So here's what an activity would look like that you found in the library. And you do have the ability to save that activity. The way you do that is the heart button up there in the top right. So if you find an activity you like, and you're going to want to use it with your students or just keep it in your library for a later reference, be sure to click on the heart. This confused me too when I first started using Seesaw. You really don't want to just click on assign. Heart it, put it in your library, and then you'll be able to edit it, make copies, assign it to multiple classes. So heart first, and then once it's in my library, you can assign it. So here it is in my library. You can see the heart is now bright pink. That means I've hearted it first. And I have the option in the bottom right to click on the three-dot menu and make a copy and edit the activity if I want to make changes. So once you have pushed an assignment out, an activity out, students access it by going to the Activities button on the far right panel there, and they click on the green Add a Response button. This is the teacher view. So once students have submitted responses, once they've completed the work and turned it in, this is what it would look like from the teacher's perspective. You could see a little preview down at the bottom there of the names of the students who've turned it in, and you could click to see the full response. One of the big reasons we're choosing to move to Seesaw is because of the plethora of creative tools that are available to both teachers and students. So you can see on the left side there, starting at the top and working our way down, the T is the text tool. The microphone allows for voice recording. The camera allows you to record videos from within Seesaw or upload videos from another source. You can also just take pictures with the camera, still images. So uploading could be something that you had created on a Padlet and had stored in your drive, something that you have on your hard drive. The three-dot menu gives you a lot more choices. Probably the most important one there is the link button. So you do have the ability in Seesaw to link between pages. So because we're a Seesaw for Schools school, we can have multi-page activities. So you could link from one page to another. You can also link to external resources like a Discovery Education video. Along the bottom, you have the drawing tools. And again, this is a really powerful part of Seesaw that hasn't been available to us for our K2 students up until now. So you can upload a file, a PDF, a worksheet, a screenshot, and students can use the drawing tools to draw on that template that you give them. So now we're going to look at the student view of Seesaw. So our K2 students are going to have cards with barcodes on them, QR codes, and they're going to wave those in front of the webcam, and that's going to sign them into ClassLink. In ClassLink, they'll have a Seesaw button to click on. That's not set up yet. So I'm already at Seesaw, and I'm going to click on I'm a student, and I'm going to get in a slightly different way. I'm going to use a code. So here I am in Seesaw as a student. I just added myself to this class, so I don't have anything in my journal yet. So again, journal is where student work is collected. So this student has not submitted any work yet that's been approved by the teacher. So I'm going to switch to activities on the right side. That's where I, as a student, go to see what assignments the teacher has posted. And I'm just going to quickly show you this activity called Get to Know You. So notice, as a student, I see the instructions, but I can also listen to them. Now, the teacher does have to record those. It doesn't automatically take the text and turn it into an audio recording, but teachers can record themselves reading the directions for pre-readers.
Use crayons and paper to draw a picture of yourself. Then, tap the add.
So you get the idea. We're not going to listen to the whole thing. Once the student had listened to or read the directions, they would click on the Add Response button. And again, they're not going to choose their names. This is because this is a test class. And if they've forgotten the directions, because that was a lot of step for little kids, it is always up here at the top. So I could go listen to them again, or I could just bring them up to read them again. So I'm supposed to take a photo of the drawing that I made of myself and then use the microphone to record myself talking about myself. All right, so I'm going to go to photo. And I'm going to hold up my picture to the webcam and I'm going to snap the button. The reason there are 3 camera buttons is just to make it easier for the kids. Doesn't matter which one they click on. And then here's my microphone. I have to give Seesaw access to my microphone and camera. That's what it's doing. Gives them a countdown. This is my awesome picture of me, and I'm a wonderful, fabulous student. So the student would do their audio recording, and when they're done, they click on the green Done button. And they could preview it, they could listen to it again, but we're just going to say done. And it's just letting me know it might take it a minute to upload. So we just finished looking at Seesaw from the student perspective. Now we're going to switch and look at the teacher view. So I'm going to escape out of my presentation again, and I'm going to go to Seesaw, but this time I am in as a teacher. And so it gives me a bar across the bottom. It's red when I have unapproved posts. And then I can click and see what's been turned in. I can play it. And then
This is my
after
awesome
I've
picture of
listened
me,
to it,
and I'm a wonderful, fabulous student.
I can comment. So I can type my comments But I can also record my comments with a little microphone. And once I'm done, I just approve the post. Once I'm done with my comments. And I can go back in and change them if I want to. And that's it for the teacher view in terms of looking at viewing student work, commenting and turning it back in. I also want to show you the activity library. So I'm going to go up to the Add button and assign activity. And again, it defaults to my library. I'm going to switch to community. And let's say I was looking for an activity on nouns and verbs. I type in what I'm looking for. Notice I've said before that this is a first grade class, but I could switch and search under a different grade level. When I find one I like, remember you click on the heart to add it to my library. Once it's in my library, I have a couple of choices. I can just assign it, and you do have the ability to assign to multiple classes at the same time. You just click in the checkbox for the classes that you want this to go to. I can open it up and look at it more carefully before I decide if I really want to assign this to my class. I can also go to the three-dot menu and make changes. So use this as a foundation, but go in and change the directions, change the template that I've attached for students, those kinds of things. So that is it for the teacher view in Seesaw. So that's just a really basic overview. We're going to have a choice board that will have more videos with more details on building your own assignments and those kinds of tasks. But I want to end by just talking about what's going to happen in the next week or so. So you're going to get an email asking you to activate your Seesaw for Schools account that's associated with the district. Eric DeHaze, the technology director, is going to create classes and add students for homeroom teachers and for specialists. But special education and other service providers will need to set up their own classes. When you set it up, there will be a delay before you'll able to actually get in and use your class because we have to approve you. And that will usually take just a day. So after you are set up with your Seesaw class, you have a couple of decisions to make. One is, what's your template going to look like? We're asking that all teachers create a consistent look and feel to assignments. So consistent icons, colors, navigation, so that students can be more independent and can navigate your assignments from home more independently. So these are just some examples of templates that different teachers have created. The other piece we want you to start thinking about is family communication. So families will get a separate app. You'll be using the Seesaw Class app with your students. Families will need to download the family app on their device. And Seesaw has pre-created materials. Basically, you'll just print them out and send them home. You can also email and text families from within Seesaw. But you're going to start wanting to set that up. You're going to want to invite your families within the first week of school. This is an example from Carrie Volke's class of using the announcements, which is a tool within Seesaw that lets you send messages to all the families that are part of your class. It does also have the option to private message one specific family. So the last thing that we're going to be working out in the next week or so is how we're going to introduce Seesaw to our students. We are hopeful that we will have some iPad cards that we can use to practice with students during their face-to-face days. There are some awesome getting started activities in the getting started guide for each grade level, and we have a link for that for you at the end of the slide deck. We're also thinking that teachers are going to need to demonstrate using their whiteboards when students are in school. Even if you don't have the iPad cart that day, you could still do a demo on your whiteboard. Carrie Volke, who's a Seesaw ambassador, second grade teacher at Westminster Elementary, has seen a lot of teachers making popsicle stick almost puppets of the different icons that they're using in their classrooms to remind students about what buttons to click on. Like I said, we're definitely going to try to have some hands-on practice with devices. We're not sure how that will look yet. And then finally, we will have a family support page where families can go to get videos, screencasts, handouts on using Seesaw. So that's the end of today's presentation. Here you have some choice boards where you can learn more. And as always, reach out to me. That's Tiffany Davis, tdavis at awrsd.org. I'm the digital literacy coach, or digital learning coach for the elementary schools. Thanks so much. Bye.